Manifestation boils down to identification. And yes, affirmations are one of the easiest way to manifest. However, they're not the only way to enter your ideal reality. Actually, in today's video, I want to talk about other alternatives and magical ways in which you can manifest your desires or simply add magic in your life. As you guys know, I started this channel with esoteric topics and I want to go back to them a little bit just to make this channel a little bit more interesting, because I'm just very straightforward and honest. I have talked thoroughly for a year about manifestation and law of assumption. You can refer to my older videos. There is a library of thousands of videos, not thousands, maybe not, but hundreds of videos about manifestation. And today I want to introduce some more magical topics. So if you guys are interested, just keep on watching. And so you know, on Patreon, there is the Withy Tribe community where you can find so many videos already, hundreds of videos about magic, esotericism. We read books about manifestation, my manifestations advice, more stories and success stories and experience from me, and so much more. I post also a video a week apart from the additional videos that are already there, pick a card readings and tarot. The link is down below if you want to connect to the Patreon community, because I don't even have social media. I post everything on Patreon once a week and I loved it, and I feel so free to express myself, and you can find so many additional information if you enjoy my channel. So check it, it's down below, and YouTube memberships are also listed down below. But now let's get started with today's topic. So let's talk about magic, and let's talk about manifestation and magical ways to manifest. Now, obviously, with the popularity of the law of assumption, and even before with the law of attraction, there are many people who got into visualizations a lot, scripting and affirmations. And I think this is wonderful and it's perfect. It's perfect because it's an easy way to access the law of assumption, to make it work. It works for the majority of people. It just implies only repetition, which is extremely important, and I made separate videos to manifest your desires. So I am all for that. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have created this channel. I tried myself. It's amazing. It makes everything so much easier. So no one can take that away from you at all. And yes, it's true that reality is created by your belief system, so the thoughts that you keep repeating. There are many people who do not decide to engage with magic. They do not want to believe in magical worlds. They don't believe in spirit guides and angels, which doesn't mean that they don't exist. They simply don't allow them in their reality. Therefore, they don't manifest them. They don't see them, which is perfectly fine, and that's okay too. There are people who do not want to believe in infinite consciousness and God, and they want to believe that they are actually the only person on this planet projecting everything and manifesting everything. If you have been knowing me for a while, you know I'm not for that school of thoughts. I love esotericism. I have experienced other beings, and I will talk about it today. And I love divination tools. I think they're amazing to manifest, and this is what I want to talk about today as well. So obviously, it's just an approach. It's just a different layer of reality. I don't necessarily think that one way is the best way, and my way, like my way or the highway, let's put it this way. This video is for people who want to add more magic into their life, and they resonate with Florence Scovel teachings, my teachings, and people who are aligned with this kind of thoughts. And if you think about it, even someone like Joe Dispenza, and this is what I want to say right now, it's say this. So what happens with manifestation is that you have been on the journey for a while. Joe talks about this. You have done the affirmations, the visualization. You have manifested perhaps many of the things you already want, or you have seen results, or maybe you just want to see more. And what happens is that you got bored. Like, I just want to be honest. It's like once the bare minimum necessities, needs, and desires are covered. So like someone like me, or even someone like Joe Dispenza, and many of you out there, like I'm confident, like you have manifested love, you have manifested maybe family, you have manifested a job that you like, you have seen a bit the effect of manifestation. Maybe you didn't manifest everything, but you fully believe in it, you have seen it. Then what happens, there is something inside of you that tells you, I want to discover more. I want to discover more about the universe. I want to discover more about the spirit world. By the way, I have 2 hours videos on my Patreon about what happens in the spirit world, what happens after we die, what is our job in the spirit world, and all of that if you guys are interested, again. But you get more interested in the magic of things. And I do remember months and months, even a year ago, when I was reading Joe Dispenza, he said the same thing. And I know for a fact, like I know one of his volunteers that has volunteers for his advanced, not webinar, like seminars, workshops that he does. And he gets all into that with advanced practitioners. He gets all into, you know, meditating and getting into other dimensions and connected to the quantum field and talk with spirits and see other forms of lives like fairies and dwarves, who knows, you know, all of this stuff that even the ancient ones have talked about it, he explores with advanced. Now, I don't want to talk for Joe Dispenza because that's all I know from what I read and what I saw from the interviews and from what one of the volunteers has told me, but I clearly do remember that in one of his interviews, and I'm only mentioning him because I admire him as a teacher, but he mentions, he was saying like, I manifested money, I manifested love, I manifested a wonderful family, now I'm interested in getting surprised into the magic of life. I'm interested in to know the gods. He didn't say the gods, but he intended infinite consciousness and so much more. And I resonated so much with what he was saying because that's what I've always been interested in, because I never doubted that manifestation was working. And now that I manifested everything that I want, I am more and more passionate, even more than I was before, to connect with spirit guides and angel and to make manifestation a lot more magical. I think I've started there when I was a kid. By the way, I have videos about witchcraft and things like that. I have started when I was a kid with the magical world. I ended up going more scientific with manifestation, and I feel right now I'm going back to myself, like to a full circle. Not to talk about myself, but just to tell you where I'm coming from with this video and what I want to communicate. So many of you guys, like I said, maybe you didn't manifest everything, but you feel that in the manifestation process that you're utilizing, something is missing. You misconnecting with higher forces. Maybe you do believe in God, or you're pagan, you believe in gods. By the way, I have a separated video about how to connect with your pantheon deity and how to connect with gods in case you will be pagan. Or if you're monotheist, you want to connect with God, that I will talk about it today. So there is space for everyone, really. But here's the thing. A lot of the time, apart from this introduction, I hear people, and it hurts me a little bit, I have to admit, but I try to let it go. I hear people very angry and saying things, and I know other coaches have experienced this. They were saying, oh, we create our own reality, therefore, why would you go to a psychic? Why would you ask spirit guides and angels? Why would you believe in ghosts? We're the only God. That hurts me a lot, because for me, and I can only speak for myself, you guys, but for me, this is not objectively true. And we're not alone. Yes, we are an extension of God or infinite consciousness. We are and God, and we have the ability to create our own reality, and no one can deny that, in my opinion, unless they want to believe that and create that reality. But at the same time, we're not alone, and that's the beauty of life, that infinite consciousness permeates into everything and is everything and nothing at the same time. And so that always made me feel less alone. And through my personal experience, I know that there are forces beyond our comprehension that we can tap into. There are pendulums, or even called egregores or thought forms, that we can use to manifest. And there are so many other things that if we only open our mind, we will be able to see. The reason why I'm saying this is not only for my experiences with spells or things that I want to mention about getting your manifestation more magical, that I know that they work, because I know that those techniques help to imprint the subconscious mind. But at the same time is also because with the use of medicine plant and psychedelics and DMT, which I have made 2 separate videos about in case you want to know about my personal experience, and this is not my invitation to you to use DMT or psychedelics, I'm only talking about my experience. I know that the spirits exist. I know our ancestors are very much real, and they live and breathe through our DNA. And I know that we're not alone, and we can access these beautiful beings in order to get guidance about our life, to align to a higher purpose that we can choose. No one is going to impose anything on us. Of course, we do have free will in that sense, but at the same time, free will might be an illusion because there is always a higher path. And I mean, even more scientific people talk about this, mentioning Vadim Zealand with the frail in his book Reality Transurfing, and Florence Scovel talks about something similar. So everything is really connected, and we don't have to be alone, especially when we're manifesting. We lack faith, or we are exhausted, we don't know what to do, affirmations are becoming really heavy for us. You don't have to be alone, and there are more fun and magical ways to tap into creating or manifesting the reality that you want. And they are very ancient, some of them, and humans have been using them for the longest time. So there must be something true if they use them for so long. So what are they? Today is going to be an introductory video, but let me know if you want an additional video on YouTube about all of this, or even on Patreon. You can refer to my older videos to know more about this esoteric topic in the moment, in the meantime that you're waiting for newer videos. But what are these ways of manifesting? So let's talk about this most simple one, and I think that this one is very popular, and I feel is prayer. So I think prayer is a magical way of manifesting, and it's universal, and it's the first one I want to mention because prayer really goes hand in hand with every belief system. I mean, I feel, well, if you're atheist and you don't believe in anything, you can still pray to your subconscious mind. You can still have an inner conversation with your subconscious mind and tell your subconscious mind what you want. But for all the other people who have more of a belief system, whether it would be an established religion or paganism, or they just feel connected to nature, or they feel connected with the universe in general, and you are especially exhausted, you don't know what to do to make this thing happen. Maybe you are afraid, you are worried. There could be worries in life that are so overwhelming that affirmation just like gets stuck in your throat, and they are hard to even say. So in this moment, and in other moments too, that are easier, prayers are a magical way of manifesting, because even in the Bible is written, once you ask, you should receive. Neville Goddard has wrote a book about prayers and has extensively talked about prayer, and prayer is nothing but another way of affirming, but it's a way of affirming that implies the lowering of resistance, in my opinion, and that letting go and allowing the universe or God or the gods to show you some signs and to do things for you. It's a way to connect with your higher spirit and to say, hey, maybe I don't have to do this all by myself. I can ask for help and I can receive help. Prayers have been utilized for for thousands of years by so many religions, monotheist and not, because it is a way to believe. Prayer, it's not only a way to ask for help from higher forces, but in the moment that we pray and we say, I need this money for this and that, God or the gods, help me out with this. We are also believing, we are practicing a small ritual or an inner conversation where we are affirming that indeed we have been listened to and we feel we are communicating with these higher forces. And the secret of prayer, it's to pray knowing that it's done. Exactly what Neville used to say. So he, I think, among all the teachers, had it in the most beautiful and poetic way, which is, you know, praying, believing that it's done, like I was saying before. So you pray for the home, for the house, for the specific person, for the love. And once you have release, because I feel prayer is also an act of release, like you're really releasing all your desire, your frustration, your tiredness, and after that you feel, I have been listened to, now it's done. You can even repeat it in times of worries, and I think it's a very cathartic cathartic moment that really helps also the subconscious mind. I can make a separate videos about prayer, so let me know in the comment section down below. But that's the first magical way that I will utilize for the majority of people, beyond obviously visualization, scripting, and affirmations. Then another magical way of manifesting is performing rituals of any kind. I mean, this is something that has been happening in humanity for the longest time. I really do believe that even in prehistoric time, we as humans used to perform rituals. Rituals can be something that you create, or something that you take from a religion, or from your practices, or from anything that inspires you. Rituals are just a practice of creating a new pattern. So for example, it could be even something as stupid as I drink this water, and by drinking this water and talking to this water, by doing the shower and talking to the water, I actually do believe that water listens to us, and we are made of water, and we can manifest with water. But regardless of that, which is a topic for a different video, by doing a ritual with water, just very simple, you just take a cup of water, you can affect reality, but because you believe in it first and foremost, but also because rituals are a way to impress the subconscious mind. Rituals can be spells. So for example, in witchcraft, and in every ancient practices, they used to, and this has actually been studied by even science. For example, it's been studied by anthropologists, if I am correct, the practice of shamanism. So for example, in many practices of even shamanism, they have noticed how when certain rituals are performed, the shaman or the person that is performing is going into almost a trance state. And by going into a trance state, yes, they believe that they're communicating with the spirits, but however, even if you want to look into a more scientific way of seeing this, because they're going to altered states of consciousness in a deep trance of meditation, through the ritual, they are actually like, the subconscious mind is getting imprinted, because the mind doesn't understand whether whatever they're seeing in their imagination is happening for real or not. And so the ritual allows them to imprint the subconscious mind, rather than with repetition in that instant where it's performed. It's the same example as trauma. You don't necessarily imprint trauma on your subconscious mind through repetition. It could be, but not necessarily. You could have one traumatic event that stucks with you through the entire life. The same happens with rituals and spell. If you're really getting into a spell, which this video will be too long to get into, but if you do a ritual, you do a spell, you really feel engaged with it, and you get all this energy. Sometimes you can also get into a trance state. I've made videos about spells before, so just in case you want to know more about it, you can even read books about spells. Then that single act of doing the ritual and spell can be your magical way to manifest, and you don't even have to repeat it. Absolutely not. I've been really good at love spells, for example, forever, but I also did money spells, and I just did it once. I did it very convinced with candles, oils, and all the things that really helped me out. I also personally believe that candles, oils, and plants have properties that do help manifestation, like energy, and I do believe in spirits, like I said before. But even if we want to get all of this behind our shoulders and say this is only a way to imprint their subconscious mind, there is still science, I think, behind it, and it is still very effective because of the trance state and the energy that you're conceiving in that one moment. And in that one moment, you're saying, it is done, I did the spell, this is going to happen. So in that particular ritual, you can just do that and not necessarily repeat any affirmation. You can just literally let it go. Now, this might not be for everyone. Don't do it if it's not for you, but it is another way to understand how to manifest in more magical ways. Then another way to manifest in more magical ways would be the use of words. But what do I mean by that? There are many ways of utilizing words, and it's not just by inner conversation or affirmations, but for example, through alphabets or ancient alphabets. This has been performed by humans by thousands thousands of years. So think about the ancient Egyptians or the Jewish alphabet or even the Norse or well, they are known as Vikings, but it's not actually historically appropriate just to say Vikings. The Norse will be the most appropriate way. They used to use the runes or the elder Futhark, because actually the Vikings used to use the younger Futhark, but that's a topic for another video. I have so many informations about this. But anyway, the runes that we know today that are used for divination practices as well are the elder Futhark, which were the alphabet of Odin and the alphabet of the Norse population, which are very similar. I mean, they're not super similar, but the concept that can be similar to Latin, Greek, and also the hieroglyphics, but more the hieroglyphics with the point of ideograms. So every word represents a sound and every word represents a concept. Think about even the Jewish alphabet is pretty much the same. Every word represents a concept or represents a sound, and even in Jewish in Hebrew alphabet represents a number. Now, this particular alphabet have been used for manifestation. So for example, let's mention the Hebrew alphabet. Now, I'm not Jewish, so I only know from the study that I've done in university. I studied philosophy, and from my own personal study. But the Hebrew alphabet, for example, it's been heavily used in witchcraft and in ancient witchcraft because of Solomon and King Solomon. So King Solomon has created talisman and amulets, or also called seals, which contain certain words with the Hebrew alphabet that are said to manifest a specific intent for the wearer and to be connected with angels and demons, depending on what key of Solomon and what seals you're looking at. I've made a video about it if you guys are just interested in it, and I've been using them for the longest time. You just wear the amulets, you perform a ritual to open its energy, and it works. They always have worked for me. But there is, for example, there is a very popular YouTuber that I really appreciate. She's called Lior Alexandra, and she makes beautiful jewelry with the Hebrew letters. And this beautiful jewelry are amulets that you activate through a specific ritual that she gives to you once you purchase one of the amulets. But they are made, as said, because she's Jewish, they are made with the Hebrew letter, and she says, even in her website, every Hebrew letter means something. And so by looking or having these amulets and utilizing these words, you are emanating that energy and therefore connecting to the quantum field, connected to the field, and manifest that into your life. Love that. But this is very similar, like I said, with what the ancient Egyptians were doing as well as the Norse. Because, for example, if we're looking at runes, I've been utilizing the runes for the longest time since I was a kid. I used to actually go to little forest when I was a child, get stones from the ground and carve the runes with a sharper on it, because I used to love them. And I didn't even know about divination tools back then. I just used to do it because I don't know, I just felt intuitively drawn to them. And then I started learning tarot after that. But essentially the way I used to use them, it's the way also the Norse used to use them. So they weren't actually a divination tool. Like I said, Elder Futhark was an alphabet, and every single rune represents something. So for example, let's say that we're talking about the rune Dagat. It represents the dawn or exiting a dark time. So for the Norse used to paint them in wands, they used to paint them or carve them in woods. In the doors, they used to tattoo them sometimes to indicate or go to war with them. Put them on their shields, because having that particular word, which was also connected to Odin's, the legend is that Odin, the god, the All-Father itself, gave them that alphabet, so it was a magical alphabet. So utilizing these words and see them all the time through a tattoo or perhaps in a door or carve them somewhere would have manifested the light after the blackness, or would have manifested prosperity for them. So you can utilize this alphabet too if you're passionate about. Or let's say that you're not passionate about history and you're not passionate about, you know, more ancient practices, you can utilize words. So for example, you don't necessarily have to affirm, but you could create post-it, or you can save on your screensaver on your phone, even one of the runes or one of the hieroglyphs or whatever you want, or a sentence. This has been done in the law of attraction for so long. This is a magical way of doing things. You can save on your screensaver on your mobile phone, success. Just the word success, and by the fact that you're going to see that unconsciously every single time, just the word success is going to connect your subconscious mind to the idea of success, and it's an unconscious affirmation that you're doing just by looking at it. Do you know who talks about this actually? Florence Scovel-Shinn. Now obviously Florence didn't say to save it on the screensaver, but she says sometimes the only thing that you have to do is just say success. And the subconscious mind will automatically know what you are talking about and what do you mean with success. And just by looking or seeing or saying that word, that will make you manifest everything that you want, because your subconscious mind will connect again, I want to say it again, the word, the meaning, the image of success with all that you perceive and you believe to be successful. The same these ancient people used to do with the ancient alphabets. The same, and you can utilize it. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, otherwise this video will be super long and my battery is going away. I thought it was only going to be like a 5-minute video, and then I realized I have too many things to say. Never mind. Anyway, the last thing I want to say, in order to manifest in a magical way, it's connecting with spirits even through divination tools or tarot. Now, I have made 2 separate videos on this channel talking about how tarot and pick a card reading can actually be utilized to manifest. Now, if you obviously have to use divination tools or tarot or oracle cards for prediction, so you're going to a psychic and say, I want to know what's going to happen next week, that's not a way to manifest, because yeah, you can know. You will know what she says, because what a psychic does, she will see the most probable outcome of your situation, considering the energy that you're holding. So energy is held by thoughts, most likely, and emotions. So she will make a prediction that depends on that, and she will give you the most probable outcome that the cards are showing. Now, for people who are not into conscious manifestation, usually predictions are accurate if the psychic is talented, because they don't really change their thoughts and course of action. But if you're into conscious manifestation, having a reading like this is pointless. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. So how can we really utilize tarot and oracle cards or divination tools to manifest? Well, in millions of different ways. First, you can ask for clarity from spirits and angels or whatever you believe in, and fairies, whatever. You can say, hey, I'm really confused about this specific person. Can you tell me what energy I'm holding right now? What subconscious energy I'm projecting? And they will answer. You can ask them, maybe I have some belief system that needs to be revised. Can you give me some guidance? They will answer, or a psychic will answer for you. Or you can even ask, show me the most probable outcome if I affirm this and if I constantly think this, what would it be? And they will answer, and through that you can gain more confidence. I've been doing this for the longest time, and sometimes divination tools and oracles can be even used, like you can literally, if you love them like I do, you can take an oracle card or a tarot card that you really like, and for you it represents your desire, and look at it every single day. I have an e-course down below. It's from years ago, but it's still relatable. It's like all the informations are, where I teach you how to read the tarot, and in that course there is a bonus lesson on how to manifest with them, because I've been utilizing this method for the longest time, and it's always worked. Because let's say, for instance, that I am asking spirit guides and angels about clarity, and I see all positive cards, And I give myself a prediction in that sense, that it's all positive, and I even write it down, then I don't ask for it anymore, that it's going to happen. And it always happened, and it always gave me more faith and more strength. Now, let's say for instance, but what if the manifestation, the prediction, or the cards are telling you something negative? In that case, I don't believe in them anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, if they're negative, it means I need to change my thoughts or affirm differently. Thank you so much for saying this. I will change this. And I take them as a warning or as a sign that maybe I have to change some of the things that I've been thinking, because I know that the cards are only a projection of my mind. So in this sense, they can really, really help manifest, and they can be a magical tool to manifest. Okay, you guys, these are only a few things to make your life more magical and to make manifestation more magical. I swear I could stay hours and hours talking about every single magical tool that you can utilize for manifesting. I did almost 2 years ago the psychic school where I taught wonderful girls how to utilize these divination tools in many, many ways to help themselves and to help other people. And it was such a long course that I think we spent 3 months together for hours, once a week for hours talking about this. So this is how much passionate I am about all this subject, and this is how much vast the world and the universe is. And it's not just, you just have to affirm and manifestation, that's it, bare minimum. There's nothing else to talk about. Life is magical. There's so many things we don't know. There's so many things that the ancient ones used to know that we don't even know how far their knowledge used to go, because archaeologists are not even sure yet. There is so much to talk, there is so much to explore. So let me know if this video was interesting for you. If you want to know more, I would love to. Definitely I will make more extra videos on Patreon about this. But so you know that if you ever felt, maybe because of a past life, connected to other practices which might be more natural to you to manifest, explore them. Listen to your intuition, listen to yourself, make it fun. Because the more you make it fun, the more you make it authentic to you, the easier it is going to be for you to manifest. Okay? I love you guys. Battery is off, and I'll see you very soon on this channel. Bye!